Hello, my name's Scott Williams.
And I'm Gerri Williams, and we have 2 children. Initially, when we were diagnosed, our oldest had autism and the mitochondrial disease and epilepsy, failure to thrive, multiple food allergies, multiple environmental allergies, just really struggling to put any weight on whatsoever. Docs were considering a tube feeding for him at the time, before also to refer to Sydney. Now, Sydney had alopecia, which means hair loss. She had severe gastric emptying issues and vomited a lot. She had lost weight. They actually had her scheduled for it's called a pyloroplasty and a tube feeding, where, we actually couldn't accept it. It got to the point where it was like we were going to sit and do absolutely nothing and just accept the fate, or we were going to stand up and we were going to try to fight this.
Originally, when they were diagnosed with mitochondrial disease, we were informed that the doctor said he didn't have a crystal ball, but the life expectancy of the children was not very long. Unfortunately, he said, probably about 10 years old.
The kids were failing fast. And at the time, my son was failure to thrive. He had seizure disorder, autism, and now this new mitochondrial disorder. And then Sydney was also diagnosed at the same time, and she was diagnosed with attention deficit mitochondrial disorder, and she had multiple food allergies as well. They gave us pretty much no hope that they would live very long. And that is when I researched, and I was on a listserv for mitochondrial disease families. And I'd asked the question, has anybody done hyperbaric oxygen therapy? And of course, I had a mom, and she put me in touch with Shannon. We both were looking for answers, and lo and behold, we were on the internet, and we had found Mito Mom, like us, that treated with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And I took it to my parents. They watched it. Of course, we all cried, and it was that easy. That was the decision we made. We're like, we've got to do hyperbarics. And it wasn't long after we came across the Montel Williams show and Shannon Kenitz. I watched her up there being so brave on the stage talking about grace and her mitochondrial disorder and hyperbaric oxygen therapy, and that she was getting better. And there was footage of photos of Grace. And I'm like, we got to do this. So immediately, I call my parents. I'm like, are you home? You got to see this video. You have to see this video. I mean, this child has a mitochondrial disorder just like our kids. And she's getting better. And we just had no idea that we would move this forward and get this much accomplished. And them going to school now, and not being in the hospital all the time, and losing medical diagnosis, which is really unheard of with mitochondrial disease. I mean, it's a degenerative progressive disease, so to just feel very, very blessed that we have what we have today. It's been worth it, and to continue that and pay it forward to other families gives us purpose.
I'll still never forget, after the 3rd treatment of hyperbarics, we went back to the hotel, and she said she was hungry, which wasn't uncommon for her to say she was hungry, but she had a bowl of chocolate ice cream, and I'll never forget this because she ate it down. She had ice cream all over her face, and she just said, I want more. And she kept eating, and we're waiting for the screams of pain to start. We're waiting for, our normal, sadly. Mm-hmm. And she held it down. And just after that point, we just kept seeing more and more benefits. Her get better and better, and it was definitely a godsend. But sometimes it takes 10 treatments, sometimes it might take 20 treatments or more to get that wow factor. We got it extremely quickly, and it was definitely what we needed. I mean, it was, we were never going to give up on our children, but I mean, it just made us so much more determined.
With Austin, our oldest, his seizures stopped. This is a kid that had seizures for 5 years and on medication. So, and weight gain, language exploded. We've seen an increase in cognition, and he started to grow, and he wanted to try new foods. He had a lot of food aversions for quite some time and wouldn't try anything new. So in fact, the seizure disorder was controlled so well that he's been off of medication for 3 years with no seizures. It's been pretty amazing. And over time, I developed a very good relationship with this physician. And I finally did tell him what we were doing. And he told us, he supported us 100%. He said, it's no doubt it's working. He goes, it would be unethical as a physician to say it's not working. He goes, it's clearly doing something. And seeing them get better. And needless to say, they're not failure to thrive anymore. They don't need the stinking tube feeding. And they enjoy more foods than they ever had before. Austin's without seizures. They're in school now. They also, they're not in the hospital all the time. So they have a much, much better quality of life. And we're also seeing, we used to get regression before we would get progression in their development. And we have not had since hyperbarics and all the integrative things that we've done, we've never had any of that regression at all. We just keep getting progress. And it's another thing that just really comes to mind is we wanted back just one skill. But we started getting all these skills back, and then it just makes you want more, and then you get greedy. That's what it feels like. And I'm like, we just got to keep going. We just got to keep going. We just keep getting more and more of our children back. So
it feels great.
It does. It's hope. It's hope.